Listen to me. Life doesn't reward the timid. Life doesn't hand out trophies to those who hesitate, complain, or shrink back when it gets hard. Life belongs to the bold, the relentless, the ones who decide that no matter what's thrown at them, they will stand tall and fight back. Stop being a wimp. Stop waiting for someone to come save you because nobody's coming. Stop thinking life owes you comfort. It doesn't. Life will test you. It will push you to the edge. And if you keep whining about how unfair it is, you'll stay stuck exactly where you are. You've got to toughen up. You've got to rise up and say, I'm stronger than this. I'm not here to play small. I'm not here to hide in fear. I'm here to conquer. Every challenge that knocks you down is an opportunity to rise with more power. Every time you feel like quitting, that's the exact moment you need to double your effort because the breakthrough lies on the other side of your breaking point. Do you want to win? Then stop being soft. Stop avoiding the discomfort. Lean into it. Embrace the pain because pain is the price of progress. Fear is the doorway to growth. Struggle is the pathway to greatness. The world doesn't need more wimps. The world needs warriors. People who refuse to be defined by excuses. People who choose discipline over laziness, courage over comfort, persistence over giving up. That's you. That's who you're meant to be. So today is the day you stop being fragile. Today is the day you look in the mirror and say, no more excuses. No more weakness. I am done being a wimp. I am a force. I am unstoppable. I am built for greatness. Because once you decide that, nothing and no one can stop you. Comfort is killing your potential, and you know it. Every time you choose the easy path, every time you choose the soft option, every time you hit snooze, instead of rising to face the day, you're silently suffocating the greatness inside you. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you, telling you that you've done enough, that you deserve to take it easy, that tomorrow will be a better day to start. But that's the trap, the illusion, the poison that keeps people living small. Nothing extraordinary was ever built from a place of ease. Nothing legendary was ever created by someone who chose comfort over courage. The gym isn't comfortable. Building a business isn't comfortable. Facing rejection, chasing dreams, pushing your body and mind to limits you've never reached before isn't comfortable. But that's where the growth is. That's where the breakthroughs lie. That's where the person you're capable of becoming is waiting for you. You have to understand your brain is wired to keep you safe, to protect you from discomfort, to keep you alive. That's useful when you're running from danger, but in modern life, it's a trap. It makes you resist growth. It makes you cling to routine, to familiarity, to the same circle of people, the same habits, the same patterns. And then you wonder why nothing changes, why your life feels stuck, why you keep getting the same results year after year. It's because comfort has become your prison. Comfort is the cell that looks nice and cozy, but it's locking away your power. You want freedom. Then you've got to break the chains of comfort and step into the unknown. You've got to embrace the discomfort and realize it's not your enemy. It's your teacher. Every time you feel resistance, every time you feel fear, every time you feel that little voice telling you, don't do it. That's your signal. That's the exact place you need to move toward because it means growth is waiting there for you. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. Was it when things were easy, smooth, and comfortable? Or was it when you were stretched, challenged, maybe even broken down? Pain, struggle, pressure, they shape you. Diamonds don't form in comfort. They form under extreme heat and pressure. Steel is not strong until it's been tested by fire. And you are no different. You will never access the strongest version of yourself while clinging to safety. You will only meet that version when you decide comfort is not the goal, growth is. And growth is always uncomfortable. Growth requires sacrifice. Growth requires sweat, tears, rejection, setbacks, and frustration. But with every step through discomfort, you're building resilience, you're building strength, you're building the capacity to do what others can't. Most people spend their lives chasing comfort, a comfortable job, a comfortable income, a comfortable routine, a comfortable body. And then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel restless, why they're still searching for something more. It's because deep down, you know you weren't built for comfort. You were built for challenge. You were built for expansion. You were built to push the limits of what's possible. Your soul craves growth, and growth doesn't live in comfort zones. Comfort zones are dead zones. Nothing grows there. Comfort zones may feel safe, but they suffocate your potential. They keep you from discovering what you're truly capable of. And every day you choose comfort, you're making a trade. You're trading your potential for temporary ease. You're trading your greatness for mediocrity. You're trading the fire inside you for a lukewarm existence. That's not living, that's surviving. And you weren't put on this earth just to survive. You were put here to thrive, to expand, to rise, to lead, to break boundaries, to create impact. When you understand this, when you make peace with discomfort, everything changes. You start to realize that the fear you feel is not a stop sign, it's a green light. That nervousness in your stomach, that hesitation in your chest, that voice telling you it's too hard, those are signals that you're moving in the right direction. The path of growth is not lined with comfort, it's lined with obstacles. It's supposed to be tough. It's supposed to challenge you, because only through challenge do you unlock your power. Think about athletes. They don't get stronger by lifting light weights forever. They grow when they increase the weight, when they push their muscles to failure, when they tear the fibers so they can rebuild stronger. That's the law of growth. You have to break down to build up. You have to endure discomfort to become unshakable. The same is true for your mind, your business, your relationships, your dreams. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying slowly inside. Comfort whispers lies. It tells you you'll be happier if you just take it easy. But have you noticed the more you chase comfort, the less satisfied you feel? That's because comfort creates stagnation, and stagnation creates frustration. True fulfillment doesn't come from avoiding struggle. It comes from conquering it. It comes from proving to yourself that you can rise above the pain, above the fear, above the obstacles. It comes from looking back and realizing you did something you once thought was impossible. That kind of confidence, that kind of pride only comes from doing what's uncomfortable. That's why the happiest, most fulfilled people are the ones who keep pushing, who keep stretching, who keep putting themselves in situations that test them. They know that discomfort is not a punishment, it's a privilege. It's the price of living a life that matters, so you have a choice. You can stay where it's safe, comfortable, predictable, and live a life that's smaller than what you're capable of. Or you can step into the unknown, face the discomfort, and unlock the power, the growth, the greatness that's been waiting for you all along. Because comfort is killing your potential, and the only way to save it is to break free, to stop running from discomfort and start running toward it. The pain you're avoiding is the path to the power you've been searching for. The struggle you resist is the key to the strength you desire. And the discomfort you fear is the birthplace of the life you've always wanted. Excuses are lies you tell yourself, and the more you repeat them, the more they feel like truth. You know, deep down when you're making an excuse, you feel it in your gut in that split second when you choose the easy way out. But instead of admitting you avoided the work, instead of owning the fact that you didn't push yourself, you build a story, a clever justification, a reason why it wasn't your fault. I didn't have enough time. I was too tired. It wasn't the right moment. I'll start tomorrow. You convince yourself of these lies until they sound logical, until they sound real. But the only thing they're really doing is keeping you stuck exactly where you are. Excuses are the comfort food of the mind. They give you temporary relief, but long-term they make you weak. They rob you of power. They keep you small. And if you keep feeding yourself these lies, don't be surprised when your life becomes a reflection of the excuses you've made. Every excuse has one purpose: to protect you from discomfort. You don't want to face rejection, so you make an excuse not to try. You don't want to feel the pain of discipline, so you make an excuse not to show up. You don't want to risk failure, so you make an excuse to stay in the safe zone. The problem is that every time you choose the excuse, you strengthen the pattern of weakness. You train your brain to believe the lie. You wire yourself to settle for less. And here's the brutal truth: excuses don't protect you, they destroy you. They eat away at your confidence. They rob you of momentum. They convince you that you're powerless, when the truth is you're not powerless. You're just choosing to give your power away. The more excuses you make, the more powerless you feel, and the cycle keeps repeating until you believe you're a victim of your circumstances instead of the creator of your destiny. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who never face fear or doubt. They're the ones who stop giving their excuses authority over their lives. They hear the same thoughts you hear. They feel the same hesitation. But instead of negotiating with it, instead of building a story, they call it out for what it is, a lie, and they move anyway. They understand that action destroys excuses. Every step you take forward, no matter how small, shatters the story in your head. Every time you refuse to let the excuse win, you build strength, you build credibility with yourself, you prove to your own mind that you are in control. And once you start proving that to yourself consistently, everything changes. You no longer need to rely on motivation because you've built discipline. You no longer need to rely on external validation because you trust yourself. That's the power of cutting through excuses. They stop being your master and start being your fuel. think about it, the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves. Because when someone else lies to you, you can confront it, you can reject it, you can choose not to believe it. But when you lie to yourself, when you craft an excuse that feels convenient, who's going to challenge it? Nobody. You're the judge, the jury, and the defendant all in one. And that's why excuses are so toxic. They let you hide from accountability. But accountability is where your power lies. When you take full ownership, when you say, yes, I failed because I didn't show up, I didn't commit, I didn't follow through. That honesty stings, but it also sets you free. Because now you can change it. Now you can decide to do better. Now you can rise. Excuses block that door. Honesty opens it. If you want to change your life, start by ripping the mask off your excuses. Call them out, say them out loud, and then replace them with truth. The truth is you do have time. You're just not prioritizing it. The truth is you could wake up earlier. You could push harder. You could sacrifice more. The truth is you're afraid of failing, and it's easier to build an excuse than to admit that fear. But until you face that truth, until you own it, you will keep repeating the same cycle. Life will not change because you had a good reason. It will only change because you made a powerful decision. Excuses don't get you results. Excuses don't pay the bills. Excuses don't build the body, the business, the relationship, or the legacy you want. Only action does. Only consistent effort. Only relentless persistence. Only the decision to stop lying to yourself and start doing what's required. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. Not talent, not luck, not connections. It's the ability to cut through the excuses and execute regardless of how you feel. When you finally stop negotiating with yourself, when you finally stop softening the blow with excuses, you unlock a new level of power. You stop wasting energy justifying why you didn't do it, and you redirect that energy into actually doing it. You stop hiding from the truth, and you start living it. And here's the beautiful part. Once you start living without excuses, you stop needing them. You develop a new identity, one that says, I do what I say I will do. I follow through. I don't lie to myself. That kind of identity is unshakable because it builds real confidence. Confidence doesn't come from pretending everything is fine. Confidence comes from knowing you've paid the price, knowing you've done the work, knowing you've been honest with yourself. That's what excuses rob you of. They rob you of the pride that only comes from facing reality and doing the hard thing anyway. So every time you feel that little story building in your mind, catch it, interrupt it. Remind yourself this is just a lie dressed up as a reason. This is weakness trying to negotiate its way into my life. And you don't have to accept it. You don't have to obey it. You have the power to override it. Excuses may feel convincing in the moment, but in the long run, they leave you with regret. And regret is the heaviest burden you will ever carry. But when you reject the excuse, when you choose action over justification, you create results, and results create momentum, and momentum creates transformation. The path is simply kill the excuse, take the action, repeat, over and over until it becomes who you are. Because excuses are lies you tell yourself, and the only way to stop living a lie is to start living in action. Pain is a requirement for progress, and the sooner you accept that truth, the sooner you unlock the life you've been chasing. Everybody wants success, everybody wants growth, everybody wants to rise to the next level, but the moment pain shows up, most people run. They run from the very thing that's designed to shape them. They run from the very process that builds their strength. They run from the struggle that was sent to prepare them for the greatness they say they want. Pain is not a punishment. It's a prerequisite. It's the admission price to transformation. You can't grow without it. You can't evolve without it. You can't build anything of value without walking through it. The people you admire, the champions you look up to, the leaders you respect, every one of them has scars. Every one of them has been broken down, tested, pushed to the edge. And it's in those moments of pain where they found out who they really were. You see, pain strips away the illusions. When you're comfortable, it's easy to pretend you're strong. It's easy to hide behind excuses. It's easy to tell yourself that you're doing enough. But when pain hits, when life knocks you flat, when you're exhausted, broke, rejected, bleeding, and you still have to move forward, that's when your true character is revealed. Pain doesn't lie. It exposes what's weak, but it also reveals what's unshakable. That's why pain is so powerful. It tears down the false layers and forces you to confront reality. It shows you where you need to grow. It points out the gaps in your discipline, the cracks in your mindset, the soft spots in your resolve. And once you see those weaknesses, you get to work on them. Pain is feedback, and feedback is progress. If you're willing to listen, think about your body for a moment. If you go to the gym and lift light weights that never challenge you, you'll never get stronger. If you never push your muscles to the point where they tear and rebuild, you stay the same. But if you increase the weight, if you embrace the burn, if you push through the discomfort, you get growth. The soreness you feel after a hard workout isn't a sign of failure. It's proof of progress. It's the same in life. Emotional pain, financial pain, spiritual pain, all of it has the same purpose: to break down what's weak so something stronger can take its place. Pain is not the enemy. It's the process. It's the signal that you're moving forward. If you feel no pain, it means you're stuck. It means you're stagnant. It means you're not stretching beyond what you've already mastered. But here's the problem. Most people spend their whole lives avoiding pain. They avoid the hard conversations. They avoid the risks. They avoid the struggle. They avoid the discipline. They convince themselves they're choosing peace, but what they're really choosing is stagnation. Because peace without growth isn't peace, it's numbness. And numbness kills dreams. When you avoid pain, you're also avoiding progress. You're locking yourself into a life that's smaller than what you're capable of. You can't cheat the process. You can't shortcut growth. You can't expect to rise without first being tested, and tests are painful. They're supposed to be. Pain is the way life asks, how bad do you really want it? And your answer isn't in your words. It's in your actions. When things get hard, every breakthrough in your life will be preceded by a season of pain. Before you build the business, you'll face the rejection, the doubt, the failures. Before you find the relationship you deserve, you'll face heartbreak, loneliness, disappointment. Before you reach the level of confidence you desire, you'll face insecurity, fear, self-doubt. Pain always comes first because pain is the path. You can't jump over it. You can't go around it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. You walk through it. You embrace it. You use it as fuel. And here's the paradox. When you stop resisting the pain, when you stop complaining about it, when you stop treating it like a curse, it loses its power to control you. It becomes a teacher instead of a tormentor. It becomes a guide instead of a prison. That's when pain transforms you. That's when you start to see it not as the thing holding you back, but as the very force pulling you forward. You've got to rewire your relationship with pain. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? Instead of crying about the weight, embrace it as the tool that's making you stronger. Instead of running from struggle, lean into it. Because the truth is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. If it doesn't stretch you, it won't strengthen you. If it doesn't break you down, it won't build you up. That's the formula. And deep down, you know it's true. The times you've grown the most, the seasons that shaped you, the moments that built your character, they weren't easy, they weren't painless, they were hard, they hurt, and yet they turned you into who you are now. That's the gift hidden inside the struggle, but understand this too. Pain is not meant to last forever. Pain is temporary, progress is permanent. The pain you feel today will fade, but the strength you gain from it will stay. Too many people quit in the middle of pain because they forget it's not permanent. They make decisions in temporary discomfort that cost them permanent opportunities. Don't quit in the middle. Don't stop when it hurts. Push through it, because on the other side of pain is a version of you that you can't even imagine yet. That's why pain is not optional if you want to grow. It's not negotiable. It's not something you can avoid and still expect to evolve. It's required. It's the toll booth you must pass through to reach the destination you're aiming for. So when life hits you, when it feels unbearable, when the weight is crushing, remind yourself this is the process. This is what growth looks like. This is what transformation feels like. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't curse it. Use it. Let it mold you. Let it carve you. Let it prepare you. Because pain is a requirement for progress. And every time you embrace it, you step closer to the greatness that's been waiting for you all along. Discipline beats motivation. And until you understand that, you'll keep living in cycles of starting and stopping, getting excited, and then falling off, dreaming big, and then abandoning it when it gets tough. Motivation is great when it shows up. It feels powerful. It feels electric. It feels like nothing can stop you. But motivation is a guest. It visits. It doesn't live with you. You can't rely on it because it's inconsistent. One day you wake up fired up, ready to crush it. And the next day you wake up tired, heavy, not in the mood. If your success depends on how you feel, then your life will always be unstable. Discipline is different. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline doesn't care about moods. Discipline doesn't care about convenience. Discipline is a commitment to action regardless of emotion. And that's why discipline beats motivation every single time. People love to talk about being motivated. They watch a video, read a quote, listen to a speech, and for a moment they feel unstoppable. But that feeling fades. It always does. The real test is not how high you can ride the wave of motivation, but what you do when the wave is gone. When nobody's clapping for you, when the music fades, when the crowd disappears, when you're alone with your goals and the grind is staring you in the face, that's when discipline decides your future. Discipline is waking up at 5 a.m. even when the bed feels warm. Discipline is hitting the gym when every muscle in your body is begging for rest. Discipline is working on your craft when nobody's paying attention. Discipline is choosing long-term vision over short-term comfort. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes who you are. Discipline creates consistency, and consistency creates results. It's not about doing something once in a burst of passion. It's about doing it day after day, week after week, year after year until the results are undeniable. You can't build strength by working out once when you're motivated. You can't build wealth by saving money only when it feels good. You can't build mastery by practicing your skill just on the days you feel inspired. Progress belongs to those who show up regardless of how they feel. That's the brutal truth most people don't want to face. They'd rather wait for the spark of motivation, but waiting for motivation is waiting for failure. Because motivation is fickle, discipline is faithful. Motivation is emotional, discipline is rational. Motivation gives you a head start, discipline gets you to the finish line. Think about the people you admire, the champions, the leaders, the ones at the top of their game. Do you think they feel motivated every day? Of course not. They have days when they're tired, frustrated, unmotivated, just like you. The difference is they don't wait for motivation to decide their actions. They built discipline. They created habits. They trained their mind and body to show up no matter what. And because they show up, they get results. The results give them momentum, and momentum creates motivation naturally. That's the secret most people miss. Motivation doesn't create discipline. Discipline creates motivation. The action comes first. The feeling comes later. You can't wait to feel ready. You have to do it until you feel it. You can't wait for the mood. You have to act your way into the mood. Action produces emotion, not the other way around. The truth is discipline is freedom. People think discipline is restriction. They think it's about rules and sacrifice. But discipline is what sets you free. When you're disciplined with your body, you're free from sickness, weakness, and fatigue. When you're disciplined with your money, you're free from debt, stress, and scarcity. When you're disciplined with your work, you're free to create opportunities, to build influence, to design the life you want. The undisciplined are slaves to their moods, their cravings, their distractions. They're tossed around by whatever they feel in the moment. The disciplined are free because they're in control. They don't live by feelings, they live by principles. And those principles produce a life of power, progress, and purpose, but discipline is not built overnight. It's forged in small decisions repeated every single day. It's choosing to get up when the alarm rings instead of hitting snooze. It's choosing to eat for fuel instead of comfort. It's choosing to focus on the task instead of scrolling endlessly. Each small decision is like a brick, and every day you lay another brick until you've built a fortress of discipline around your life. And once that fortress is strong enough, it becomes your identity. You no longer ask yourself, do I feel like doing this? You simply do it because it's who you are. And when you reach that point, success is inevitable because talent will fail without discipline, intelligence will fail without discipline, passion will fail without discipline. But an average person with relentless discipline will outwork and outlast the most gifted person who depends on motivation. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret is permanent. Waking up early, training hard, focusing, sacrificing, these things hurt in the moment. But that pain fades quickly, and in its place comes pride, progress, results. On the other hand, skipping the work, giving into laziness, choosing comfort over commitment feels good now, but the regret lasts forever. You can't escape pain. You just have to choose which pain you want to live with. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. And every day you get to decide which one you'll carry. So stop waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. Stop hoping to feel inspired before you act. Stop living like your success is at the mercy of your emotions. Discipline is your weapon. Discipline is your edge. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Build it, practice it, live it, and it will take you places motivation never could. Warriors are made, not born. And the truth is every single person has the ability to become one if they're willing to endure the process that forges strength, resilience, and unshakable will. Too often people look at champions, leaders, those who dominate in their field, and think they must have been born with something special, some genetic gift, some natural edge that made them unstoppable. But that's the lie we tell ourselves to make our weakness feel acceptable. The reality is every warrior you admire was once soft, uncertain, afraid, inexperienced. They weren't born with unbreakable discipline. They built it. They weren't born fearless. They learned to act in spite of fear. They weren't born strong. They went through the fire. They took the hits. They paid the price. And through pain and pressure, they became who they are. You don't need to be born extraordinary. You need to be willing to do what ordinary people won't. You need to stop asking for an easier path and start asking for the strength to walk the hard one. Because the making of a warrior doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when life is easy. It doesn't happen when everything is going your way. It happens when you're tested. It happens when you're tired but keep going anyway. It happens when you're scared but you move forward regardless. It happens when you're rejected, doubted, underestimated, and you decide not to break. Every setback is a forge. Every failure is a hammer. Every struggle is shaping you into something harder, sharper, stronger. Warriors are not born. They are built in the grind, in the sweat, in the discipline, in the battles no one else sees. A warrior mindset is not about arrogance. It's about resilience. It's the ability to keep showing up when everything in you wants to quit. It's the decision to fight one more round, to take one more step, to try one more time. It's the refusal to let circumstances dictate your destiny. Most people let life beat them down because they think their struggle is proof they're not good enough. But warriors understand the opposite. The struggle is proof that you're on the path. The pain, the resistance, the obstacles, they're not signs to stop. They're the signs that growth is happening. Every warrior learns that suffering is not the enemy, weakness is. And the only way to eliminate weakness is to go through the suffering that kills it off, look at history, and you'll see that the greatest warriors, whether in battle, in leadership, or in life, all share the same truth. They were ordinary men and women who chose to keep going when others gave up. They weren't spared hardship. In fact, they faced more of it. What made them different was their decision to endure, to adapt, to rise. That's what makes a warrior. Choice. Every day you choose whether to step into the fight or shrink back. Every day you choose whether to face the discomfort or run from it. Every day you choose whether to build discipline or make excuses. And those choices stack up until one day you look in the mirror and you see a warrior staring back, not because you were born that way, but because you earned it. Warriors are forged in the little things. Waking up early when the world is still asleep. Training when no one is watching. Saying no to distractions when everyone else is indulging. Keeping promises to yourself when it would be easier to break them. Every one of those small victories builds armor around your spirit. Every act of discipline sharpens your sword. Every choice to do what's hard instead of what's easy prepares you for the bigger battles ahead. And when the storm comes, when life throws its worst at you, you'll stand, not because you're lucky, not because you were born different, but because you trained for it, you built for it, you prepared for it. That's what separates warriors from wimps. Wimps hope life will be gentle. Warriors prepare for the fight. And here's the thing about becoming a warrior. It's not about never feeling fear. It's about never surrendering to it. Fear will always be there. Doubt will always whisper in your ear. Temptation to quit will always tug at your mind. But warriors understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of it. They don't wait for the fear to disappear before they move. They move while it screams in their head. And every time they do, the fear gets smaller, their confidence gets bigger, and their spirit grows stronger. That's the cycle that turns ordinary people into extraordinary forces. The truth is, most people never discover the warrior inside them because they run from the very process that creates it. They want the glory without the grind. They want the victory without the battle. They want the rewards without the scars. But you cannot have one without the other. The scars are proof you fought. The bruises are proof you endured. The calluses are proof you didn't quit. Warriors wear their scars with pride because they know every mark is a story of survival, of resilience, of refusing to bow to life's pressure. Those scars are medals earned in silence, reminders that nothing broke them, that they stood when it mattered most. And the beauty is, becoming a warrior is not reserved for a chosen few. It's available to anyone who decides to step up. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You don't need to be born into the right family or have the right resources. What you need is the decision to refuse weakness, to refuse excuses, to refuse the life of comfort that makes people soft. You need the courage to step into discomfort daily, to put yourself in positions where you might fail, to push past limits that once felt impossible. You need to embrace the grind as your training ground, the setbacks as your lessons, the challenges as your opportunities to grow sharper. That decision, repeated over and over, is what turns you into a warrior. So when life gets hard, when you feel overwhelmed, when you wonder if you have what it takes, remember that this is the exact process required. This is the fire you must walk through. This is the weight you must carry. This is the battlefield where your warrior spirit is being built. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't wish it away. Step into it with courage, knowing that every struggle is molding you. Every challenge is shaping you. Every fight is forming you into someone stronger than yesterday, because warriors are made, not born. And the making of a warrior is happening in you every single time you refuse to quit,